So here is the ultimate conclusion to our discussion up front. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the blockchain and other distributed ledger technologies, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, 5 and 6G wireless internet connections, biotech and nanotech are all combining to provide mankind with the strong delusion mentioned in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And what is that strong delusion? Ye shall be as gods, ye shall surely not die. The lie from the Garden of Eden has not changed, and that is exactly how history is going to close out. And I, in my opinion, truly believe that we are in the last 1% of human history. So I think we should act on that knowledge because time is short. So that's my grand conclusion. And now let's define some terms. Bitcoin is the dominant cryptocurrency. Bitcoin currently has almost half of the market share of over 1,200 cryptocurrencies. So what is a cryptocurrency? Well, a cryptocurrency is an electronic currency that is based on the blockchain. Now, what is the blockchain? The blockchain is a computer-based distributed ledger technology where everyone involved in a database sees the entire database, which is updated in real time to all parties.
Is the reason why putting your house on a blockchain would be so much quicker, and I could go from a 2-month process because I'm like, I really want this house, and then, but instead of waiting that 2 months, the reason why it would take me a week is because it pretty much eliminates 9 out of 10 of the verifications I would need because of the blockchain itself being so reliable. Would that be?
That is correct, right? And
all right,
every revolution has caused certain occupations to go out of business. Okay, candle makers aren't where they were 150 years ago. Lawyers won't be where they are now in 10 to 20 years from now.
A lot of people are probably praising Jesus for
that. Exactly. Okay, we went from the steam-powered revolution of the 1800s to the electrical revolution of the early 1900s to the computer revolution of the 1950s. And now in the 21st century, we are entering the quantum revolution. And I find it ironic that a lot of people have emailed and messaged me saying, oh, Leonard, it's all fake. The quantum revolution's totally fake. Don't you know? And I say, yeah, that's what they said about the horseless carriage back in the 1880s. The diameter of an atom is about 0.1 to 0.5 nanometers, or about 1 million times smaller than the thickness of the thickest human hair. Not all the atoms of an element are identical, even in the same state. The latest Intel Core i7 circuitry thickness has shrunk from 22 nanometers to 14 nanometers. The smallest circuit possible for a conventional computer would not be much less than 1 nanometer across or 2 atoms wide because of potential defects in circuitry and heat. The moment you have a circuit that is 1 atom wide, you have a quantum computer. We are coming to the end of Moore's law, where computing power has doubled every 18 months for the past 50 years. A conventional computer relies on a two-dimensional field of up to millions of transistors to perform calculations. Those transistors, or bits, can be on or off, 1 or 0, in a binary computer system. A quantum computer relies on a three-dimensional matrix of up to thousands of atoms, or qubits, held in place by supercooling and magnetic fields. A quantum computer is revolutionary because it can not only spin this three-dimensional fixed matrix of atoms up or down to get a 1 or a 0, but in any direction necessary. Quantum computers based on a three-dimensional fixed matrix of atoms spinning in hundreds of different directions are therefore hundreds of times more powerful than conventional two-dimensional computers whose circuits are either on or off. Let's say you own a fleet of aircraft. You want to know the answer to the following question. What is the real-time optimal distribution of all my aircraft? Keep giving me the answer.
Right.
Don't ever stop.
Don't stop till I land.
Exactly. Right? I need a plane in Dusseldorf, Germany. I need one in Chicago, Vancouver, Toronto, you name it, Miami. Okay. And now balance out the passenger loads with air currents, because I have different models of planes, and calculate the optimum plane to be used based on passenger loads. I have 5 different type of aircraft. Okay. This gets really complicated. But this is what a quantum computer is useful for. A qubit is a single atom that can spin any direction. It is usually linked with hundreds to thousands of other atoms that are fixed in place, like a Rubik's Cube. Instead of cubes, you have spheres of atoms in a matrix, three-dimensional matrix. And they're all spinning in the same direction, but that direction is constantly changing according to the magnetic field variation which you are inducing in this super cooled environment. Now, that may sound like it's just right over your head, but it's really, really spiritually important. And here's why. We're gonna get into this. This is so deep. The people behind quantum computers, in my opinion, don't really know what they're doing all the time. They really don't. Okay? They are being helped, let's just say. Okay, and I'll prove that. They are following, knowingly or unknowingly, the doctrines of demons. And we're going to get into that. Okay, and one of those doctrines or those techniques is called geomancy. What does this have to do with quantum computers? Everything. All those mancies are very nasty. Okay, necromancy. Right. Necromancy, geomancy, you name it. Okay, stay away from the mancies.
Yes.
Right. But this is what is being used. And so we should at least try to understand it so we know what's behind the quantum computing revolution in many cases, not all cases, many cases. And the people who have ulterior motives reveal themselves by their own language. Every aspect of learning or of any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. An attempt will be made to find out how to make machines use language, form abstractions and concepts, solve kinds of problems now reserved for humans, and improve themselves. Now, you might say, oh, we haven't invented that yet. Well, yes, we have. Okay, it's right here. It's called Siri. Siri is listening to you. It is picking up on keywords. It has linked the keyword database, which you give it, to your internet profile to figure out the context of the words that you are using, that you are feeding it. So the question is all this stuff, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, is it evil? And the answer is
no.
Not necessarily. Okay?
Some people use it.
Exactly. Okay, the internet is what we are all using right now. Okay? We're not using it for evil. We're trying to have an elevated conversation that advances us not just mentally, but spiritually. We can also use the internet to distribute child pornography.
Boo.
Big time.
No.
Or any
Right?
pornography. The child being the most insidious right there.
Exactly. So the point is, it's a technology, it's morally neutral, it's all on how you use it. There are no coincidences in the New World Order. There's no such thing as mistiming. The people behind the New World Order manage their goals by objectives. They do not care how much time it takes to achieve a goal. They do care about whether or not they can achieve that goal in totality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't think it's any coincidence. Let me share my screen here. That 30 years ago, if I can find it, world reserve currency, yes, that you would have a cover like this. Okay,
yes.
This is the January 1988 cover of The Economist magazine. Now, this is a Rothschild publication through and through. If you look at who was on the board of directors for The Economist magazine, you'll see that it's Rothschild, Rothschild, Rothschild. It's even in your face here in the form of the red shield, which is in German, Rothschild or Rothschild. It's right there. Okay.
That makes sense.
Right. So what do we see here in this artwork that's now 30 years old? Well, we see
A phoenix.
right. Oh no, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's an eagle. That's America.
No,
God bless America.
And
Okay.
why is the fire there then? Right?
Exactly.
Phoenix on fire.
So, what is around the phoenix's neck? Well, you see 10 phoenix, which is a currency unit, could be dollars, won, yuan, pesos. Okay. This is 10 phoenix. And what is the year on this coin? 2018.
Oh, I can't see
Coming
it.
up next year.
And what is the symbol in the center of this coin? It's a 0 with a line or a 1 through it. It could be considered a quantum symbol.
Okay.
It could be considered a 3-phase electrical symbol for those of you who are in the electrical industry. The third phase of money is not going to be the first phase, which is gold and silver, though it's going to contain an element of that. Okay. It's not going to be the second phase of money, which is fiat currency, which is just fancy pieces of toilet paper worth absolutely no more than monopoly money. It's going to be the third phase. It's going to be a cryptocurrency that is accepted by the world. Bitcoin is just a warm-up act. Okay. It's destined to die. And we'll get into the reasons why Bitcoin is taking off financially. Here is a 500-year chart as to the longevity of the world's reserve currencies. So Portugal had the world's reserve currency status from 1450 to 1530. Gentlemen, that's 80 years. Right. So then came Spain. And if you notice, there's little color bands here. That's the build-up period. And there's a color band to the right, which is the fading period. So we're not talking, oh, Portugal lost the world's reserve currency status, and then the next day came along Spain. No, there's a fade in, fade out process, okay? So then with Spain, 1530 to 1640, that was 110 years. Then the Netherlands, 1640 to 1720, that's 80 years. Then France, 1720 to 1815, that's 95 years. Then Great Britain, 1815 to 1920, that's 105 years. And then look at America, 1920 to 2030, if you're lucky, 110 years. So what's the point of this? The point of this, you're on the way out as a world's reserve currency. There's a couple things which give Bitcoin a perceived value. Notice I use the word perceived.
Right.
Okay. Number one, there's only a fixed amount of Bitcoin ever. What do you think is going to happen to the purchasing power of the American dollar once other countries accelerate in the I don't want to hold US dollars anymore process? Where do you think those dollars are going to go?
Well, they're probably going to get burned with a giant phoenix on top of it.
A question that comes up is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence an op? Is it an inside job? I have to say, yes, it is. Okay. Roughly half of all the Bitcoin out there is owned by 1% of all Bitcoin holders. In other words, that's monopoly holding. At any time, this 50% ownership could declare to sell, and then there would be a panic in the Bitcoin market. Everyone would sell, right? Okay, so just be aware of facts like that. Then there are NSA white papers called How to Make a Mint, the Cryptocurrency Revolution, which was issued before any cryptocurrency was ever made. You will instantly see why we are going here. Singularity.net, the token sale is closed, full cap reached. Thank you for your support. We will share details shortly. In other words, Singularity.net has created its own artificial intelligence-based cryptocurrency. So what Singularity wants to do is create the mother of all cryptocurrencies. The future will be run on AI. Well, that's true. Singularity.net lets anyone monetize artificial intelligence, allowing companies, organizations, and developers buy and sell artificial intelligence at scale. From the creators of Sophia the robot. The mind of Sophia lives in Singularity.net. Now, who created Sophia? Well, people like Dr. Ben Goertzel. This guy, according to my educational background, probably has an IQ in the range of 160 to 180. Now, who else is on the board of directors here at Hansen Robotics? Well, it's Sophia Hansen,
The
chief
first ro-
humanoid.
Yeah, the first robot citizen, I believe. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. Now, doesn't Sophia Hansen, with her computerized transparent head, look a lot like the female robot from the movie Ex Machina? Now, the word Sophia comes from Greek meaning knowledge or wisdom.
Sophos, yeah.
Sophos,
Yeah.
right. It was Sophia that was brought out on stage in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and her appearance was promoted to Saudi Arabia's 1,500 to 2,000 princelings, each of which is a multi-billionaire. And so all of these princelings, these billionaire princelings in Saudi Arabia, are there at the Marriott five-star hotel to watch Sophia, okay? That was the honeypot that MBS or Mohammed bin Salman, the newly self-installed American puppet dictator of Saudi Arabia, used to quarantine all these billionaire princes in that hotel. And if you want to leave that hotel alive, ordered all these billionaire princelings to give him 70% of their wealth. Why is this happening? It's happening because Saudi Arabia is slowly running out of oil, which is exactly why you've got all this tension in Western Syria with quote-unquote ISIS, which is just simply al-Qaeda repackaged. So everything is interrelated. Okay, Saudi Arabia, Syria. Okay, the question is, where are we going to get the petroleum from to feed Western markets like Europe? Let me tell you why Sophia, the artificial intelligence robot, was given citizenship by Saudi Arabia, of all places.